Not every person who walks into your life is meant to stay. Some of them were sent by God, and some of them are being removed by God. And the most painful part, you might be fighting to keep someone that heaven itself is pulling away from you. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about cutting people off impulsively. This is about recognizing the hand of God in the connections that are fading and having the courage to stop holding on to what He has already decided to release. Today, I'm going to show you 7 signs that God is removing someone from your life. Not because they're evil, not always because they wronged you, but because your next season requires a different circle. Stay with me, because sign number 4 is the one most believers completely misread, and it costs them years of unnecessary pain. Sign 1. Every conversation leaves you spiritually drained, not built up. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Not just tired, spiritually emptied, like something was taken from you. Your faith feels smaller. Your vision feels foggy. Your hunger for God feels quieter. That is not a coincidence. That is a signal. God designed relationships to sharpen you, not to blunt you. Iron sharp.
Sign 2. The peace of God consistently disappears around them. This one is quiet, subtle, but it is one of the most accurate spiritual indicators you have. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." The word rule here means to act as an umpire, to make the final call. When God's peace is removed around a specific person, He is making a call. And most believers argue with that call. They explain it away. They say, "I'm just anxious. I'm just overthinking." But deep in your spirit, you already know. Peace is not just an emotion. It is a spiritual compass. And when it goes silent around someone, God is not being subtle. He is being direct. He is simply waiting to see if you will listen. Sign 3. They consistently oppose the direction God is taking you. Not every person who questions your calling is an enemy, but there is a difference between someone who challenges you to grow deeper and someone who constantly pulls you back from what God has clearly shown you. Matthew 10:36 warns that a man's enemies can be those of his own household. That's not always about hatred. Sometimes it's about misalignment. Someone can love you and still be the wrong voice for your next season. If every time God moves you forward, a specific person is the reason you hesitate, if their doubt becomes your doubt, their fear becomes your ceiling, God may be repositioning them out of your inner circle, not to punish you, but to protect your assignment. Sign 4. The relationship only survives when you shrink yourself. This is the one that costs people years. You've learned to edit yourself around them. You don't share what God is doing in your life because it makes them uncomfortable. You don't speak about your dreams because their reaction always leaves you deflated. You've become smaller so that the relationship can feel bigger. But God never calls you to minimize the person He is building you into for the sake of someone else's comfort. John 15:2 says, "Every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." Pruning is not punishment, but it is removal. And sometimes what God is pruning is not a weakness in you. It is a connection that has become a ceiling over you. The moment you stop shrinking, you will realize that some relationships were only working because you were making yourself less. And that is not a relationship. That is a spiritual cage with a kind face. Sign 5. Every attempt to restore the relationship feels forced and fruitless. You've tried, you've prayed, you've initiated, you've extended grace again and again. But every attempt to rebuild what was there feels like pushing a door that God has already closed from the other side. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. That includes seasons of connection and seasons of separation. Not every broken relationship is a failure. Some of them are a completion. God allowed that person into your life for a specific chapter, and that chapter is finished. Forcing a connection past its God-given season doesn't restore it. It just delays your ability to receive what's waiting in the next one. When restoration keeps failing, stop asking why it's not working. Start asking what God is protecting you from by keeping it closed. Sign 6. God keeps showing you the same warning through different sources. His word, a sermon, a conversation with someone else, a quiet conviction that returns every time you try to justify holding on. God is not a God of confusion. When He is removing something, He will confirm it repeatedly until you are willing to act. 2 Corinthians 13:1. Every matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If the Holy Spirit has warned you once, that is grace. If He has warned you 3 times through 3 different channels, that is no longer a whisper. That is a clear instruction. And continuing to ignore it is not loyalty to the person. It is disobedience to God.
So what do you do in the silence? You do not force movement that God has not authorized. Every time Abraham tried to rush the promise of God, it created Ishmael situations, things born out of impatience that caused pain for generations. You do not interpret silence as rejection. Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to His purpose. All things, including the quiet seasons, including the waiting, including what looks like nothing happening. You root yourself deeper. Trees do not grow upward during winter. They grow downward. Root systems deepen in the cold and the dark, preparing for the weight of what spring will bring. What looks like stillness is actually strengthening. You stay obedient in the small. Luke 16:10. Whoever is faithful in what is least is also faithful in much. God is watching how you handle the season no one applauds. He is watching how you worship when there is no crowd. He is watching how you serve when there is no recognition. Because public promotion is always rooted in private faithfulness. And you guard against the voice that tells you the silence means you missed it. You did not miss it. Isaiah 30:21 promises, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." He is still speaking. He is still leading. He has not lost you.